सार्थक चश्मा कब लगा तेरे को?
हेलो हेलो
हेलो।
Okay, can you raise your hand, the ones who had doubt? Can you please raise your hands again? Not on the screen, my dear. Please raise it over there so that it is easy for me to explain it. Okay, just one sec. Yeah. Okay. Okay, yes, Aradhya wants it out. Yes, Aradhya.
Sir, do we have to memorize the temperatures like under liquefaction and dissolving in water?
No, you just have to study what is written on the screen, my dear. That's the point of writing all these things over here. Please do not study anything apart from the things which I am telling you to study. Okay.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, just stick to whatever I am telling you to study. Do not study unwanted things. Don't waste your time. Okay. This is the thing. You have to just understand the process and then just write it. That's all you have to study from this part. Okay. Whatever reactions or whatever temperature, whatever is important will be mentioned in the notes so that I guess I have marked also in the textbook. When I'm marking, I tell you specifically which one has to be studied, which reaction has to be studied, and also please don't study the temperature and stuff for liquefaction and dissolving. Okay.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Yes, Sarthak. Ask.
Sir, if a question comes that how can ammonia be separated from these reactants, so we have to write any one method or
You
both
can
the
write
method?
any one method. Yes, you can write any one method. You can write both the methods also. But you'll get marks even if you write one method. So if you just write it is separated by liquefaction, you get marks. Okay.
Okay, so we don't have to define that process converting gases.
No. Just have to mention the name of the process. That's it.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Yes, Manit.
Sir, this ammonia is easily liquefiable because it is highly soluble in water, right?
Easily liquefiable and soluble in water are two different things, Manit. Liquefiable is when we apply pressure and reduce the temperature, the gas converts into a liquid. Soluble in water is when you pass the gas into water, it dissolves in water. Those are two different things.
Okay, sir.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, you're welcome. Yes, Siddharth.
हाँ सर, वही सार्थक ने जो पूछा.
Okay, you got it.
बस वो नाम लिखना ना, definition नहीं.
Yeah, I just have to write the name of the process. Yes.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome. Okay, so I hope that's it. Yes, Arnav Patra, wait, I'll unmute. I cannot read so much. Yes, Arnav, ask a question.
So in Haber's process, when the ammonia and heat is formed, do they react again and form? Can they react again and form nitrogen and hydrogen?
It is a reversible reaction, right? Yeah, it can react. So that's the reason why we easily we immediately separate the product from the reactants. Okay. It can go back. It is not that it form ho gaya and then it starts reacting again. It takes some time. So, but then before that, we make sure that the ammonia is separated from nitrogen and hydrogen. Okay, so it is a reversible reaction. Yeah, that can happen. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Okay, so I guess that's it. That's it out. So we'll move on to the next topic. Okay, so this is manufacture of ammonia by Haber's process, one of the most important topics from this chapter. So as you know, we have studied total of 3 methods of preparing ammonia, children. The first method was the laboratory preparation of ammonia. So that is like taking ammonium chloride and calcium hydroxide, that is sal ammoniac and slaked lime. That is the reaction you'll be writing when they ask you what is the reaction for laboratory preparation of ammonia. Then we studied the second method of laboratory preparation, that is using metallic nitrides, where the metallic hydroxide is formed along with ammonia gas. But then we do not use that method because it is very expensive. Metallic nitrates are very expensive. We don't use expensive stuff for preparing anything in the lab, so that method is not used. Then we use Haber's process. Okay, so Haber's process is used for mass production of ammonia. So we have to study the reaction, we have to study the whatever factors are a part of that particular thing. You have to study everything in that, and we'll also study these two methods of separating ammonia gas from the other gaseous reactants. Okay, so these are the three methods, and apart from that we have to remember these equations. Okay, and there is no need to remember any diagram from Haber's process. You just have to study whatever was mentioned in this screen, okay, over here. You don't have to study anything into detail rather than whatever I have explained over here. But in case of lab preparation, both the lab preparation, you have to know how to use the, how to study the equations. Okay, and you also need to know the other like reaction, what all happen and how do we collect it, all this thing. Although the same thing happens, like except for the initial part, that is a reactance change. I guess the setup is almost the same because drying agents, etc., are like almost the same over there. Almost it's the same thing. It is calcium oxide which is used over there. So you will study all those things. And apart from that, we also study the properties of ammonia. The property that it is basic in nature and it is highly soluble in water. We understood that with the help of fountain experiment. So you need to study the fountain experiment. There are two reasons. Why do we use that? So that is, it helps us to understand the basic nature of ammonia, and also helps us to understand that it is highly soluble in water. The next topic which we'll be studying will be chemical properties of ammonia. So there are a very less number of reactions which you have to study from this chapter when compared to hydrogen chloride. Although I have included a lot of reactions here, as I told you when we were marking the in the textbook, I told you there are many reactions which we'll be studying from the chapter analytical chemistry. So as I told you then, it is your choice. You can study it from this chapter or you can study it from that chapter. Analytical chemistry will be done in the lab by your teachers when you go back to school, right? So you'll be seeing all those color changes. So I'll try my best to explain the color change and how to write the equation part of it. Because it's not just about identifying the color of the precipitate formed over there, but then you have to also understand how the reaction takes place. So before we reach there, we will first do chemical properties of ammonia, and we'll stop today with combustibility. That is the first property, because I guess it's 9:35. The class is supposed to end at 9:40. Okay. So the first property of ammonia is combustibility. So ammonia is not a combustible gas and it does not support combustion. Okay, so this is something which you have to know. It's an important thing. But in this part of the chapter, if you remember what we had marked two reactions that is coming under oxidation of ammonia. So the first one is normal oxidation and the second one is catalytic oxidation of ammonia. So the normal oxidation of ammonia is something like we are taking ammonia and we are burning it in the presence of oxygen. Okay, so in that part of the page, I told you that two things you'll be remembering. That will be first is the reaction, second is the observation. So they can ask you any of these two things from that part of the chapter. So burning of ammonia and oxygen is a process in which we are just taking ammonia gas and we are burning it in the atmosphere of oxygen. So without any catalyst. So you can see that the products which are formed are nitrogen and water. Okay, so this is the reaction which you have to remember, and the observation which we see over there is that ammonia gas will burn with a greenish yellow flame. It is very important to remember the color of the flame. As I told you that day, the textbook says green flame or greenish yellow flame. Study one color properly, and greenish yellow is the flame which we have been discussing when we had gone for the paper correction. Greenish yellow is a color which is accepted everywhere. So please study only this color, and when you're writing this answer in your exam, you will mention greenish yellow. Don't write green and yellow green or whatever. So even if you write the the colors in a different way, they give you 0 marks. Okay, so greenish yellow is a color which we are getting. So here in that part, even though you don't have to go through the process and all, I'll just explain what happens there just so that you understand. So what happens is that we take this ammonia gas and oxygen gas coming from obviously two different sources. So the first this thing that these gases are being made to pass into a chamber, okay, gas chamber, and which has got this like a burner sort of a thing. So we pass ammonia gas through one of the pipes and we try to burn it, but then we see that it does not catch fire, which proves that ammonia is not combustible. Okay, now what we do is slowly from the second pipe, there are two pipes which are going into this apparatus. So from the second pipe we slowly add oxygen into this gas chamber, and then we again ignite this mixture of gases now which we have in the chamber. So then you see that the gas which is coming from that, the ammonia gas which is coming out, it starts burning with a greenish yellow flame. Okay, so which means that ammonia burns only in the presence of oxygen, so otherwise it does not burn, and it does not help also anything burn. Okay, so this is something which is proved there, but you don't have to study the procedure, you just have to understand what is happening there. So you will study the reaction which is present over here, and you'll also study the observation. Observation is ammonia gas burns with a greenish yellow flame, right? The next topic, the next type of oxidation is catalytic oxidation of ammonia. In catalytic oxidation of ammonia, the process remains the same, that is ammonia is being heated with oxygen, but the difference is that we are using a catalyst over here, that is platinum, and then we heat it to a temperature of 800 degrees Celsius. So we have the same reaction coming in the next chapter, which is nitric acid, because this reaction is the basic thing where we are producing nitric acid. This is the first reaction in the production of nitric acid, that is by Ostwald's process. So Ostwald's process has got three reactions. This is the reaction it starts. Okay, that is reaction number 1, that is production of nitric oxide. So ammonia is reacting with oxygen in the presence of a catalyst, that is platinum. At 800 degrees Celsius, we get nitric oxide and we get water. And it is an exothermic reaction, so you have to write a plus delta sign here. Now, as I say always, whenever there is a reaction which involves factors, you have to make sure that those factors are mentioned when you're writing the reaction, even if it is asked in the balancing part. So since the factor is just platinum and the temperature, these two things have to be mentioned along with this plus delta sign if this question is asked even under balancing equation, that is section 1. Okay, so catalytic oxidation of ammonia, you have to understand that since the term is catalytic oxidation, the reaction will not happen in the absence of a catalyst. So it obviously is understood that we have to use PT over there. So that PT has to be mentioned in the reaction when you're writing the reaction, right? So 4 moles of ammonia reacts with 5 moles of oxygen, giving you 4 moles of nitric oxide and 6 moles of water. Okay, so this is a very important reaction. The best way to remember this reaction is 45-46. This is how we remember this reaction, 45-46. So that is 4 ammonia, 5 oxygen, and 4 nitric oxide, 6 water. So 45-46 is how we remember this reaction. So whenever you see catalytic oxidation of ammonia, you should remember 45-46. Okay. Similarly, we can use the same method over here also. It is 43-26. So you can relate it and study whichever method is easy for you to study. Okay. So make sure you study the reactions properly. Now, the observation which you see for catalytic oxidation of ammonia, factors I have already explained, that is platinum is used as a catalyst and temperature is maintained at 800. The observation for this reaction, that is catalytic oxidation, is reddish brown vapors of nitrogen dioxide is seen. Okay, so here it is this reaction says that we are producing nitric oxide, but then in the observation part we say that it is nitrogen dioxide. So what happens over here is that this nitric oxide which is formed, okay, this reacts with the oxygen reactant which is present over there. It undergoes further oxidation and creates nitrogen dioxide. So this reaction is not mentioned in that part, but then you have to understand that's what happens. So nitric oxide, which is formed as a product over here, it combines with oxygen because you're taking a lot of oxygen over here. It combines with this oxygen and produces nitrogen dioxide. See, nitric oxide is a colorless gas, but the nitrogen dioxide gas, which is produced by further oxidation of nitric oxide, produces a reddish brown color fume. We have already studied that in practical chemistry. So that reddish brown fumes of nitrogen dioxide is seen. That is one of the observations. The second observation is platinum catalyst continues to glow even after the heating is discontinued because it's an exothermic reaction. So initially, if we provide the heat, that heat is quite enough to continue with this reaction. I can show you a video of that. It's a very short video. Okay, I won't take much time. Okay, so it will be, it's quite simple. Okay. So we are taking concentrated ammonia into a conical flask, and we are just swirling the flask. The flask is swirled to saturate the vapor phase, that is concentrated ammonia obviously gives out the vapors. To concentrate that, we swirl it. So they say that we cannot use diluted ammonia, we have to use concentrated ammonia. Then we take a platinum wire and we are heating it on the burner. So you can see that it becomes red hot, and we take that glowing platinum and you put it into that container which contains ammonia. Okay, so it reacts and you can see the color. They will switch off the light and you can see the platinum wire glowing. Okay, so it glows. Okay, and it doesn't stop. So it keeps on glowing, and this is the reaction which I was talking about. So you can see that ammonia and oxygen giving you nitric oxide and water, and we can see that this nitric oxide reacts with more of this oxygen and gives you nitrogen dioxide, which comes out as the reddish brown fumes. Okay, so the oxidation is exothermic and keeps the platinum red hot so that the reaction does not slow down. And this reaction, the platinum, it keeps on glowing until either ammonia or oxygen is completely used up. Okay, so this is what happens. Okay, so I guess that's it for today. We will continue with the rest of the topics tomorrow. We'll be finishing the chapter tomorrow. If you have got any other doubts, please DM, okay, because you have a class coming up in next 5 minutes. Okay, thank you, children. Okay, we'll meet tomorrow. Okay, bye-bye. Bye.